I've sat through some pretty brutal King of the Rings in the past. So, there have been good, let's say there have been good semifinal matches, there have been good final matches, but
you're talking about overall.
Every single match from the top down. I mean, like back in the day, it used to be like Hardcore Holly like wrestling, against Farouk in a quarterfinal match. Like they really had like nothing interesting going on, and then all of a sudden it's like, hey, here's this great tournament here. So
that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's really neat.
I really enjoyed it, and you really got to see some guys in this tournament that really don't get a chance to shine.
Yeah.
Like, well, number one, Ricochet. I thought he should have, well, I mean, Baron Corbin was the right choice, but Ricochet had a great showing in this. A guy like Cedric Alexander, even though freaking Cedric Alexander just has been getting trashed these past 2 nights, like absolutely terrible the way they've treated him.
Again, and does anybody really even know why? Like...
I don't know. Cesaro versus oh god, who was it? It was Cesaro versus.
Well, didn't he face The Miz at one point?
No. It was. I'm trying to think who it was. It was Cesaro versus Samoa Joe. Was the first quarterfinal match, which was really really good. That was excellent. Andrade had a great showing in this. Chad Gable, came from out of nowhere. He really came from, obscurity, was totally gone, and then he comes back, and wow, really a great showing.
I wasn't exactly, particularly fond of was Elias.
Well, yeah, Elias was a little bit miscast in this, in the King of the Ring tournament. I thought he was a little miscast, but
I think everybody else, really shined.
I'm trying to think who. Oh, Ali had a really good showing.
Yeah.
Actually, Ali and Elias was a damn good match. A really good match. I would say that was probably one of the best matches of Elias's career too. So there's a lot of best ofs in this King of the Ring tournament. So for those that knock on tournaments and stuff like that and think that they're stupid, it's like, well, we just spent basically a month acclimating ourselves with a couple new talents that really weren't getting a lot of attention beforehand. So that's kind of a good thing. I don't think that's a bad thing.
No, it's not.
As DDP says, that's a good thing.
And what's really funny is it just changed my perspective of Baron Corbin.
Right. Yeah.
I don't I'm not immediately oh my gosh, he's on the screen.
Right. I'm kind of like a Baron Corbin fan now. I don't hate him.
I won't go as far as saying I'm a Baron Corbin fan, but I will say this, though. I'm slowly evolving my perspective towards him, so
right,
that says something.
Yeah.
Can
and
everyone hear me now, by the way? I'm very self-conscious about this.
No, I haven't seen anything that says that they can't hear you. I just hope everybody finds their way back into the chat.
Everyone give a thumbs up if you can hear me, please.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Please assure the pregnant woman that you can hear her.
Yes, we will find out momentarily if they do, but it seems like I haven't seen anything that says that there's been volume issues here, so
right.
We're looking okay.
Okay.
What? James Lester says, "No, we love you, even though you're at 25% volume." I don't know. It must be OBS or something like that tonight. It's just really.
I think it's YouTube.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I have no idea what's going on. Let me just check my settings here real quick because I can't think of any other reason why this is doing this. I really can't.
So, anyways, to kind of while you check.
Something good's happening or something bad's happening?
I don't know. It's just I think something good happened. I don't know. But I don't know. I just tried another setting on OBS. Maybe that'll work. But geez, it's been so annoying. Well, we'll see. I don't know what the hell's going on with OBS tonight. It's so weird.
Well, I'm angry.
Yeah, it's pissing me off. Oh. Now they're saying that they can hear you.
What is going on? Well, I'm glad you can hear me.
I don't know. I checked every single setting tonight.
Oh, man.
It's of course, but that's live audio. So that's just
we're live, pal.
We're live, pal. Now they're gonna. I absolutely guarantee you they're gonna say now you're too loud because I've been jacking you up in this thing.
My voice must be so irritating in your headphones.
Oh my god, it's so brutal. It's so brutal.
I can always go back.
Yeah.
And see, I have a loud voice too, so it's like.
I know.
Oy.
Oy. Okay, so.
All right. Anywho.
Well, I hope everybody was even when you weren't coming through loud and clear. I suppose you can definitely listen to the audio of it. You'll hear her loud and clear. But if I hope you could at least hear her when she was talking beforehand too. They said it sounded like you were being picked up in the background. They couldn't really hear you. I don't know. It's crazy. Well, we'll make sure we get it right for Victoria's last show next week.
If I have a last show.
You're going to have a last show. The baby better hold on now because we got to make sure we have one good final show here. Okay, King of the Ring. I think we've talked about that to death now.
Well, yeah, because we had to talk about it like 3 times.
Yeah, we had to talk about it 15 times trying to figure out what the hell was going on with OBS.
Now I'm sick of King of the Ring.
My God. But the King of the Ring was really good. And that's about all I have to say about that. Okay.
Let's not say King of the Ring anymore for this evening.
Well, this is the last time we get to talk about King of the Ring because it's over.
Okay,
it's over.
And now it's over on the show.
Now it's over on the show. Okay. Mayor Kane Glenn Jacobs showed up tonight. The mayor of Knoxville County was, of course, in Knoxville, so he was in town. Won the 24/7 title from R-Truth. Lost the 24/7 title to R-Truth. Made an appearance at the end of the show. Seth Rollins and Robert Roode were having a match, and, well, God, we got to protect the tag team titles. So Seth Rollins, the Universal Champion, cannot beat Robert Roode, so we have to have a DQ, lame-ass DQ finish. 5-on-1 beatdown. Kane comes out. Kane hasn't been on television since Crown Jewel last year.
Why did you even mention that?
Well, that's the last time he was on television. And yeah, I know that was a freaking brutal ass show. You talk like that makes this Raw seem like the Raw when Steve Austin drove out the beer truck and sprayed the McMahons. You know, it's like that's an all-time classic compared to freaking Saudi Arabia's Crown Jewel. Jiminy Crickets. But he comes out. We haven't seen him in almost a year. And clears out 5 guys, including the tag team champions. Whatever. It's it's cool. It worked, and it was a nice surprise at the end of a really, really sleepy show.
This was, overall him appearing tonight was just really, really neat. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was fun.
It was fun.
For sure.
It was definitely fun because you never think because I thought yeah, he might make an appearance, but what was kind of nice about it is the fact that he actually got in character. He got in his gear at the very end, but he still was mayor in the beginning and the middle of the show.
Yeah,
which is and then if you really sit and break it down, you're like, the mayor of Knoxville,
the mayor of a city, is on a wrestling show. It was. Yeah.
How cool is that?
Well, actually, I love that R-Truth couldn't tell who he was. He actually thought he was like Larry Bird or something like that.
And then he's talking to him.
And then he brings him into the volunteer, the stadium for the volunteers, which, by the way, I have a really good friend who went to the university down there and is a huge Bulls fan. But R-Truth misunderstood volunteers to mean that the entire stadium gets filled with Salvation Army Santas. It was just so It was just so asinine. It was
and then
hilarious.
He started calling him Mr. President.
Right, he was calling him Mr. President instead of Mr. Mayor. It was just great. And anyway, so Kane's out there. The Fiend all of a sudden shows up, kills Kane with the Mandible Claw, so goodbye, Mr. Mayor. And then he just crawls over to Seth Rollins in a really, really awesome and creepy visual. I got to see if I can pull that up on the GIF real quick because it was just the perfect visual. Everything that they've done with Bray Wyatt and this whole entire Fiend gimmick is just brilliance. Every single time. And they were doing Firefly fun houses all night. They were just the characters killing it.
And the production at the end, though.
Oh my God, the production at the end was so wacky. But
that was a loop of just the Firefly Funhouse.
I know.
But what was really neat last week when we were at MSG, it's our first story of MSG, was the fact that when we talked about, yes, he had a dark match. But what was really cool was they were testing out more like camera shots of the Fiend at the very end. So they had him kind of standing there for a long time, and they're doing close-ups and they're doing stuff in the ring. So that was really neat to see the behind the scenes of like getting those really cool angles of the Fiend, which was awesome.
Absolutely.
I love that.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. Because they brought the Fiend out for a dark match to face the B team at the SmackDown Live taping, and they did the full production. They had camera guys out there filming every single step of the way. Really, really good. Really, really cool. Nice to see him, and the way he emotes with that mask on. And I know we talked about it last night on Clash of Champions, but he was extra on tonight. Really, really fantastic.
Kind of, and I agree with you what you said before when we looked at the Twitter poll about the 52% of why, and that was the key reason why you had people being like, yeah, this is a good show, because that very end, he always knows how to like save something. Yeah. Because that was like a huge save, you know? I mean, Kane coming out was cool, no doubt about it. But at the same time, though, the Fiend is like the star of the show. Yeah. It's the attraction. It's that level of like,
he's so good that it really can just take a show that just kind of was there, and just one good angle really just kind of picks it up and changes the way people feel about the show. That's why I think that's why the Twitter poll is going the way that it is right now. And earlier in the night, in the opening segment, Seth Rollins came out and was just doing like a really cringy ass promo. He was going like, "Oh man, Braun Strowman, he's like really big and he's really strong, and you know, he gave me the fight of my life, so major props to him." I'm like, major props?
I know. I mean, don't talk about your competitor with major props. Come on.
It's like, we are trying really, really hard to make you sound cool. So if you go out there and say major props, that's going to be really cool. And the only thought in my head when he said major props was Dr. Evil going to Scott and going, "I'm cool. I'm with it. I'm hip." I was like, oh my God, you're not.
But see, to me also, I don't like when faces do that, because to me, there's still some elements where it's like they still want everybody to be like John Cena, where it's like, I had major respect for that person in our match last night, and I had major respect for the individual that we like. That's John Cena's character. That's who John Cena is. It's always like he's going to show respect to his opponent and be like, good match, good fight, you know, whatever. Seth Rollins is just not that person.
Randy M goes, "It's such good shit." That's the best. But anyway, part of our Madison Square Garden show story is basically, well, before this ended, the Fiend came, or the Bray Wyatt was shown on a Firefly Funhouse, and all he had to say was, maybe the Fiend isn't done with you tonight, or he said maybe he isn't done with you tonight, and it got such an enormous pop from the crowd. People are really geared up to see this character. It's just played off so well. The production, the presentation, the way they get the camera angles, you know, and the video effects, you know, of the Fiend's face flashing over Bray Wyatt's face, it's just incredible.
You would just wish that they took this much time into everybody's characters, you know? Yeah. But this is something that, like...
Yeah, it's really good. Anyway, our Madison Square Garden story is that we got to bring the Fiend home with us on Tuesday night. And we can, I guess, oh my God, I can't believe I'm going to do this.
I should be doing it.
Yeah, you really should. You want to do it?
Yeah.
Here. You take it.
Because I am the one who started. Well, no, you started it, but...
I started
You started it, but I did some really funny stuff.
Yes. So, what's the buzzard's name again? Bring it out a little bit so they can actually see the face. Yeah, we got the damn buzzard puppet. Bring it down now so it's in the frame. There you go. What Mercy the Buzzard. Yes, we have Mercy the Buzzard. That will be my new guest host on the show when Victoria is off being not pregnant anymore and taking care of the baby. I will at least be joined with Mercy.
So what did I kept doing when Samoa Joe came out?
Oh my God, when Samoa Joe came out. Joe. Joe, it was unbelievable.
And I got a kick from the for the people around us.
Oh yeah, people were loving it.
Because I'm just like this, and
oh yeah, Mercy was really into it.
But I was dancing. Oh, that was the one thing that really made me mad, though. Remember, I was dancing with it with the belly.
Yeah,
like they had the people dancing in the crowd.
Oh yeah. Like during the commercial breaks, they were like, "Oh, we're gonna have a dance break with the WWE Universe," and Victoria is like, she's really letting that baby bump fly.
And then I have like the buzzard with me, and
yeah, she got the buzzard. So she's got like everything. She's and by the way, Victoria's wearing a giant yellow Macho Man Savage T-shirt. You can't miss her. She has a freaking buzzard on her hand. She's pregnant as hell. She's dancing around. She's the only one in our section dancing, and they wouldn't put her on camera. I couldn't believe it.
I was so mad. They showed this ugly girl. Sorry, I didn't mean to be. I'm not trying to be like.
Well, she looked like a skank. Yeah, no, she did. She did.
She wasn't good for television. Okay.
No, but it wasn't on television. Just
still, she should not have. They should not have shown her in front of children. At least I'm pregnant and I have a buzzard.
Yes, Victoria had she has the whole merchandise thing going here. You know, it's like God. I don't understand.
It made me feel bad for myself.
Yeah, Victoria felt really bad for herself, and I think we should all, just feel bad for Victoria. Feel bad for Mercy and Victoria. So anyway, people, I guess people in the chat room love this. They'd like to find a woman who loves wrestling like Victoria does. James says, I want to find a woman who loves hand puppets in wrestling as much as Victoria. Victoria, she doesn't have many passions, but one of them is hand puppets, and I'm glad she gets to live out her passion on the show tonight.
I don't really have a big passion for hand puppets, by the way.
I know you don't. I know you don't.
Well, no, there was Lamb Chop when I was a kid.
Oh yeah, well, Lamb Chop is
it's a classic.
Yeah, Lamb Chop play along is always a good show. Good show. Okay. So I think we covered the major portions of Raw tonight. Glenn Jacobs coming out, The Fiend. Mercy the Buzzard, by the way, will be on the show next week. I can guarantee you that. It's getting a good reaction. Victoria, the Queen of Hand Puppets from Daniel Scheel.
Thank you.
Oh, James Last Friend doesn't know who Lamb Chop is. What the heck?
Don't make fun of James.
You don't know who Lamb Chop is?
Don't make fun of James.
Okay, I'm not making fun of him. I'm just saying you don't know who Lamb Chop is?
Some people don't know.
Jiminy Crickets. Okay. All right, so let's go over this Raw now. Okay. The second segment of the night after the Seth Rollins cringe fest, saved by The Fiend, was a tag team championship summit. Oh, no, before that happened. After Seth Rollins, talk about production miscues. Really, really weird. After Seth Rollins, he's looking around. They go to the promos, and they're all upside down. Look at this. And, they're like, Baron Corbin's going to face Chad Gable tonight, and blah, 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 blah. It was like, what is going... And then they realized that the graphics are upside down. Renee Young goes... And they went 3 deep in this thing, too.
I know.
They did the King of the Ring. They did Sasha and Bayley's tag match.
Yeah.
And then they got to Seth Rollins and Robert Roode. And Renee Young goes, wait, have the graphics been upside down the whole entire time? And they're like, yeah, and then they go backstage to Braun Strowman. I was like, what the hell just happened?
I'm kind of surprised that Vince wasn't like, no, don't talk about it. Don't talk about it.
Well, how can you not? It's there. It's there. Guarantee that does not make the Hulu or the WWE Network version of this.
What do you think Vince thought of that whole thing?
He was almost been like, what is this shit? What is going on here? Oh my God! You know what I wish? I wish that they had the Vince McMahon puppet on the Firefly Funhouse.
Yeah, that would have been fun.
That would have been amazing. Who does it on Facebook all the time? Anytime somebody says Vince sucks, oh yeah, it's Andrew Elder. He always posts a picture of the Vince puppet with the devil horns. Oh, it's so funny. It is so funny. It's the classic, the best kind of trolling you could possibly do. This show. Haha, pal, this is great. These bloopers, James Laceranza says. Yeah, our half this show has been a blooper so far.
Yeah, really. It's shown itself has been a blooper.
Show itself as a blooper. I'm totally out of rhythm right now.
Me too. But at least we have Mercy the Buzzard. At least
we have Mercy the Buzzard. So
I think he saved the day. See, the Fiend always saves a production.
Right,
it saves a show.
The Fiend is saving our podcast right now.
So thank you.
Thank you, Mercy. Anyway. Yeah, it was really weird. Actually, and when they did it initially, I was like, oh, it must be the Firefly Funhouse or something like that, but it definitely wasn't. They played it off like...
Can you confirm it was?
No.
No. Mercy says no.
Mercy says no. Okay. After that, we have a Tag Team Championship Summit. Raw Tag Team Champions Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode make their way to the ring, followed by SmackDown Tag Team Champions The Revival, also a Raw team. They embrace in the ring. They're just suffering a brutal death. The crowd's giving them the what treatment. Then Braun Strowman comes down to the ring. Now, remember what I said last night about wouldn't it be just good to keep the titles on Seth Rollins and Braun Strowman?
You did say that last night.
Because it would have made for a good story where now they have to team up even though Rollins defeated him for the title or to retain the title. And it also at the same time keeps the tag team championships in a main event storyline where they can kind of gain some momentum and some credibility because God knows it's been missing that for forever. And they promptly put the tag team titles, both versions of them, right back where they belong. The New Day no longer holds them, and Seth Rollins and Braun Strowman no longer hold them. So now it's back to the bottom because Braun Strowman comes out and lays out 4 guys single-handedly that are champions right now. Are you kidding me? I watched that and I was like, I mean, I shouldn't be surprised. I shouldn't even pretend to act surprised. But come on, like you know my thing with the titles. You know I have a thing about this. It's it just that drove me crazy seeing that. It just absolutely drove me crazy. You got to stop with the damn bird because I'm trying to talk here. Sorry. The damn Mercy's like flipping around over here. Oh my God. Well, everybody else likes it, but you know.
Yeah, I agree with you though.
So stupid.
I and listen, like we always are hopeful. I was again very, very hopeful that they would do something different with Dolph Ziggler. I'm not crazy. I want to give it a chance because I really like Robert Roode and Dolph, but I don't get this pairing. I just don't get it, and it was just so sudden, so unexpected, so out of nowhere, right. and it's again, and then with the Revival again, I'm going to say it what I said last night. They're a great tag team in the sense of technicality. When they wrestle. They could put on a great match, but nobody cares about them. So now you're kind of.
It's hard to care about them when they're putting stuff like this.
And again, why are they? It's funny they book Braun the way that I want him to, in the sense like tonight, where like he should just be laying out all these guys, and he really honestly should never lose or whatever. But again, like why did you do it for this and not other stuff?
Right.
I just it's. So many missed opportunities with this entire thing. And this showed tonight of where the missed opportunity lied as far as, you know, them retaining the titles last night and not retaining.
It's just like it would have at least been a story that, you know, kind of carries Seth Rollins, you know, to other things. I mean, I know he's going against The Fiend right now, but he could still be, you know, during the Raw shows at least doing some stuff with the tag teams and
right
you know, and teasing like something with Braun Strowman in the future.
Exactly, because there's no reason why you can't have both.
Right.
Why are we limited to one particular storyline? You don't have to be. You know, and especially when you're holding if you are holding multiple titles, why are you going to be limited to one storyline?
No one knows, but that's what they do.
That's just the nature of the beast, though, when you get with these tag teams. They're not getting them.
Randy M makes a good point. He says they have no idea what to do with Braun. And I have to say it's true.
It's true.
It's like,
they don't know. They have no idea what they're doing with him.
It's like they can build him up. They know how to make a monster look like a monster, but they are not willing to pull the trigger with him at all. And I get it. Yeah, he's been a little injury prone. You know, he's had muscle problems, he's had knee problems. It's just, you know, but
at the same
time, you either gotta fish or cut bait here.
Okay,
you know?
but
it's like or give him a new start on SmackDown.
And the reason why I agree with that is look at somebody like Daniel Bryan, right? Who literally thought his career ended.
Right.
He was out for years, right?
Yes.
He got a second chance to come back, and he was concussion prone, let's face it, you know, like with everything that he had going on. And injury prone.
It's scary, yeah.
It's very scary. But guess what? They finally did pull the trigger with him, this heel turn, everything else. Mm-hmm. And he's gold.
Yes.
So if
Yes.
you just give people a chance and utilize their character correctly, again, Braun Strowman should be something like The Fiend, a Mystique,
Yep.
not wrestling too often and just brutalizing people. That should be him. That's not the way he's being booked. And I had a problem with the one-on-one match last night because you look at the size of Braun and he should just be destroying people.
Right.
Why is he able to knock off 4 men tonight, but then he couldn't knock off
and
Seth Rollins?
Right. Yeah, exactly. That makes no sense. And then it's like, like we've also seen that match a million times. That's the Brock Lesnar formula. Like big move, big move, big move, big move, kick out, kick out, kick out, and then someone just hits one more move and that's the end of it.
I don't really know.
It was just something. Randy M says, give him a fresh coat of paint, send him to NXT,
Yes.
have him learn a new hold, or at least have him booked better. I don't know if NXT is the answer, but definitely like a change to Friday Night SmackDown or something like that when they move over to Fox when they do the draft. I think Strowman on Fox just doing those stunts that he was doing before, like knocking ambulances over, and he could be a big star doing that stuff on that show.
Well, yeah.
For an audience that's not too familiar with wrestling, because they're gonna be introduced to a whole new audience come 2.5 weeks from now.
If you give the Fiend to Raw, which obviously that's your better choice, give Braun to SmackDown.
Yeah,
Get the big guy there
100%.
with clearly he has capabilities.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what's interesting about Braun? He could play a face role.
Yes,
But still be a monster.
yes.
I loved his whole shtick. There were certain times when he was in face mode, and I liked what he did, like the whole Nicholas thing, and
Right.
he's able to be funny, and they showed at MSG that whole thing from WrestleMania with him on Kimmel with the kids trash, not Kimmel, Fallon,
Yeah,
kids trash talk.
yeah.
That was hilarious. And he was the funniest one because he's this big guy and he's just talking about, I'm going to eat your lunchbox. Yeah, I'm going to eat your lunch,
Yeah.
whatever. And he's just he's so funny. So the thing with him is he has ability to be versatile. He can be this monster heel because he's just so big and destructive. But he can also be a funny face, but be monstrous as well.
Right.
It's just, you really got to go with who his competitors can be and how he's laid out and not give him as many matches.
Right.
And he would be somebody you would be like, wow.
Yep. Well, they just don't want to do it. I don't know why, but we'll see what happens with the WWE draft, because it seems like they're trying to repackage a whole bunch of people ahead of this draft, because we also got the return of Rusev, which we'll talk about in a little bit. Also, AOP sitting down and doing a subtitled interview about how they haven't had a match since WrestleMania because everybody's too afraid to face them. They're repackaging them, trying to get them over as an act before this WWE draft comes up. So we'll see what happens with them as well.
Yeah.
I've long said that AOP is grossly misused on this roster, and they haven't even had a chance yet, really.
No.
Yeah, they won the Raw Tag Team titles, but it was they weren't the focal point. They weren't booked like monsters. They had Drake Maverick looking goofy to the side of them. Now it's time to see what they can really do. If they actually put some effort into a tag team, that'd be incredible, and because they are really good. Now, someone that they were doing great with, Cedric Alexander. Last week, Madison Square Garden, in the main event of the Raw show, pins AJ Styles in a 10-man tag.
Yeah.
Granted, the crowd was really crappy for half of that match,
Which was terrible, but whatever.
But they were into the finish, and he pinned AJ Styles. Yesterday, he loses his United States Championship match against AJ Styles on the kickoff show for Clash of Champions, and then he loses again tonight. OC versus Alexander and the Viking Raiders. I'm okay with someone losing 2 nights in a row. I don't care about that. It's just how you do it.
How they're losing. How are they? Yeah.
It's like AJ Styles absolutely destroyed him on the kickoff show last night. Styles clashed on the floor. Styles clashed in the ring. Really, no interference. Just straight up beat him and destroyed him. No friends come out to save him. Once again, tonight, it's like, can he get some heat back? And then I thought he was going to get the heat back because he was really going after Styles in the corner. All of a sudden, Styles hits him with it was with a phenomenal forearm and just pinned him. That was it. He hits the neuralizer. Styles blind tags in, hits a phenomenal forearm. Alexander on Alexander for the win. So Alexander takes the loss. Okay, fine. That's okay. I don't have a problem with that because it was a blind tag and he got kind of outsmarted. Whatever. But after the match, he gets beat on, and then Styles, and then Alexander actually makes the comeback, gets him on the top rope, goes for a Hurricane Rana, and Styles counters that into a Styles clash off the second rope. Why do you have to so decisively destroy him? It doesn't make any sense. It's so counterintuitive to what they've been doing for the last 2 months with him. They've been working since July to get Alexander over as somebody that's worth watching. He's had great matches. The King of the Ring match with Baron Corbin was the first of Baron Corbin's great matches in this tournament. He's a great, talented hand.
He's very talented.
What the hell was that about? Because I get it. It's not the loss. It's how badly they beat him afterward.
Yeah. No.
Because they can do one of those, WWE's really, really good at those segments where no one gets over. So let's say Alexander takes the loss, and then post-match he beats up AJ Styles. No one gets over there. It's kind of just like, wash our hands. The segment happened, but no one is further ahead than the other. 2 nights in a row, no rub for Alexander. No, I'm not looking for even Steven, but geez, just give a little something here. But it was so decisive, so emphatic.
It's not even like even Steven. It's again, it's the how far are you going to make him look like that as he loses. You there's a way to lose with dignity, and these past 2 nights he's not lost with dignity. He's lost he's pissed somebody off, and they were just screw it. And again. And correct me if I'm wrong, but AJ Styles shouldn't. His main target should not necessarily be Cedric Alexander to go to that brutality,
right?
Of a win. You know what I mean? His major.
But it'd be something if they were building Styles up for something. There's no title match on the horizon. He's already United States champion. It's Rollins versus the Fiend.
But that's what I mean.
I don't understand.
So really, Cedric should be the one with the frustration and the anger and the. Whatever. Well,
especially after the way he lost last night at Clash of Champions.
Exactly.
He should have come out, even if he lost, he still should have beat him up post-match.
Yeah, I don't know.
But, and again, it's the OC isn't exactly a dominating stable either because they've beaten them so many times. So it's does the OC really need to get over that badly over here? I don't know. It was just It's just odd. That was an odd segment. I don't like how they're doing that. But nothing could possibly be odder than these next 2 segments. Not 1, 2. And Mercy, I almost had to call Mercy in for the Mercy rule because it was okay, I mean, I'm not going to lie. I laughed. I got a good chuckle out of it. The Maria Kanellis gender reveal party hosted by, bring her into the frame a little more. There you go. Yeah, there you go. The gender reveal party hosted by the Street Profits from Maria Kanellis. Maria Kanellis comes in. She goes, and they have guys like Titus O'Neil, Zack Ryder, Kurt Hawkins, and the Dasha. No, not Dasha. Whatever the other one's name is. The backstage interviewers. They're all the same. I have no idea. They're all just kind of there partying, and Ricochet. It's okay, Ricochet. Here he is. She goes, "It's a boy," and she goes, "But the father of my baby, Michael, is not you. It's Ricochet." And then it's Ricochet's face is "What?" And Mike Kanellis is "What?" He goes, and Ricochet's "Oh, I would never. I mean, not that I wouldn't want to, but I would never impregnate you. She's your wife. I have too much respect." And then Mike Kanellis slaps him in the face, tells him to meet him in the ring. Titus O'Neil's "You done messed up, boy. Get in that ring and defend yourself. You impregnated his wife and get slapped in the face. Do something." I was oh, okay. This is something. Ricochet gets in the ring. He looks a little conflicted. And Mike Kanellis beats on him a little bit. Then Ricochet just kind of pins him with the recoil, and that's the end of that.
Listen, I'm all for a gender reveal and a pregnancy angle. You know me.
I know.
Pregnant lady over here.
Yeah. We're all good with we
I'm
like
good with pregnant people.
angles.
But
It was good. It was good. And I was like, okay, cool. They did this segment, and next week they'll bring up Maria again, and then she'll say, oh, this is the father, and then it winds up not being the father. But no, we had to go a second segment, and it's like, okay, the joke was good, and you kind of, you hit it, you're right there. That's enough. You don't need to do any more than that. And of course, whenever they get a good joke, WWE, most of the times they get silly and they take it too far.
Yeah.
It's like 2 segments of this now. Then Maria Kanellis is out there belittling him, saying, I was hoping that by saying Ricochet, I'd fire you up to be a man and defend my honor, and you couldn't do it. Here's the real father, and then Rusev comes out. Like, that's the big return for Rusev. By the way, everybody knows he's married to Lana, and they're like, oh, I wonder what Lana thinks of this revelation. It's like the last time they tried to do a Rusev-Lana breakup, love triangle storyline, it didn't work out for anybody. And this is just like, Rusev looks good. He looks really ripped. The Freddie Mercury mustache is weird, but I kind of like it. This is how you want to utilize Rusev.
Well, that's the thing. That was the major issue that I had with this. It was very confusing, and it was a little too much that Maria went into the second segment talking to degrading Kanellis, and that in itself was just like whatever. But this is how you're gonna bring somebody like Rusev back in a random comedic angle about pregnancy.
Yeah, but he wasn't being comedic. It was just like really is that really what they're gonna do? Rusev, the father of with Mike Kanellis' baby? And again,
we already know that he's married, and like it's just, and yeah, granted, Maria and Mike are actually married, but it's different. This is a totally different situation because they're playing up this whole like, oh, who's the father of my baby type thing and whatever.
But probably the best thing of this whole entire thing was Renee Young going about Ricochet. She goes, when Ricochet beat Mike Kanellis, she goes, man, Mike Kanellis just got his ass beat by his own baby's father. It's like, that was like one of those times when Renee Young just lost it on commentary. It was actually, that made the segment for me. But again, this went too long.
It went too long. And again, Rusev coming back in this fashion. And it was actually, the crowd did not like it at all. And they were excited to see Rusev, but they were confused. You can tell very much he's confused. And then when he like beat the crap out of Kanellis and then he's standing on the top of the ropes.
Right.
Nobody was cheering for him. Like nobody was giving him the attention that you would want Rusev to have. If this were in any other particular time where he's making his appearance back, people will be going crazy. But I think they were very confused and they were just like disappointed. Like this is how you're gonna. I feel like it was disrespectful.
Yeah, to the crowd, the people that pay their hard-earned money. I know they think it was entertaining, but it was just like the joke. It was over. It was like you got it. People were laughing. It was kind of weird, but I kind of liked it. But 2 segments of that, it just really killed the crowd. They never recovered after that. And I'm not going to say that Knoxville was a bad crowd all night, but after that they send out Rey Mysterio and Cesaro to have a match. They have a decent match, but the crowd is they're just out of it. They're like, okay, we see what's going on here. It's another Monday Night Raw versus Monday Night Football Raw. And again,
I don't know if maybe they thought that like because it was a Raw versus a football, like that WWE thought like, oh, we got, that'd be really cool if we get Rusev out here. But again, if he was
that's not the way to get it's a way to get a buzz, I guess, because it gets people talking. But geez.
But exactly. But the only thing I want to say about that is the fact that if obviously no one really knew when he was going to return, right? Like because he was on this extended period of time that he was off. But the only thing is, though, if you were so close to him returning, if you had the idea, like you told him, we want to get you back within the next month or so,
right?
This wasn't the Raw to do it. Like, this wasn't it. Save it for your shows coming up that you have all this buzz about you coming up when you have these competing wrestling shows and NXT going to live television. That's a time where you bring somebody like that back in because that's going to bring in viewers and something to talk about, not on a random Raw like this.
Yeah.
And the Raw was not full enough to even whatever. Again, I forgot that he even came back because I'm just like,
yeah,
it just got lost in the shuffle. It was just one of those things that was like,
and it was just such a forgettable angle. It was just so bad. It was
bad.
Like that's the way you bring.
And
back
it was
Rusev.
awkward. It was awkward. Like you could tell even Rusev was awkward, like standing there all tough and mighty, and it was like no one's reacting because they think like
it was dumb. And if that's really what they're gonna do, they're gonna run with Rusev as the father. It's like, oh, God.
I don't think they are. It was but I think it's like weird.
It was such a Paul Heyman segment though, so like I can't really get too angry.
Well,
it just reeked of Paul Heyman, but
yeah, but
it just went too long.
Even
that's it.
No, but Ricochet even was like, no, what are you talking about? Like, I'm not whatever. I mean, I would, but whatever. And the fact that Rusev didn't even say like, no, I'm not. Like, so it's like, is he really? Are we really going with this?
Yep.
We don't know.
Before we get to the only other match that's worth talking about, I'll just say Lacey Evans beats Dana Brooke with the sharpshooter submission.
Please.
So
no.
the Natalya feud, I don't know why they're feuding, but they're feuding. It has to continue.
Lives on.
Move on. Sasha Banks and Bayley versus Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss. Renee Young said it was a tag team title match. Everybody else that was non-title apparently was non-title. Alexa Bliss comes out hot early, gets taken to the back after Bayley injures the knee. Bayley sends her into the ring steps a couple times, and Bliss is brought to the back, never to return. Leaving Nikki Cross in there alone with Banks and Bayley. She makes a little bit of a comeback, but then Banks makes her tap out to the Banks statement. So the women's tag team champions submit to the first ever women's tag team champions. So there's that. Banks goes and grabs a steel chair, goes to hit Nikki Cross. Becky Lynch comes out, and finally the crowd, after being dead for like the last 40 minutes, comes alive for Becky Lynch, the true face of the company, and they get into a, I don't know, what do you call that? Jousting, or like a kind of like a sword fight with the chairs?
Yeah, like with the chairs, yeah.
Like they couldn't hit each other with chairs, and Becky was doing like all she could to miss Banks. It got kind of awkward looking after a while, but I could see what they're trying to do. Then Bayley gets in the ring with the chair. So Charlotte Flair makes a save, and Charlotte Flair comes out wearing heels that are like enormous. She's gingerly jogging down the ramp, and then she big boots Bayley. And I guess if she really hit the big boot, she would have impaled her cheekbone with her heel.
Oh, that yeah.
It was weird. And then then Banks is upset, so Becky Lynch hits her with the chair. They eventually make Banks versus Becky Lynch and inside Hell in a Cell in 3 weeks, so that's happening. Also, The Fiend versus Seth Rollins will also be in a Hell in a Cell. So we got our 2 Hell in a Cell matches made for 3 weeks. So I guess it's time for Mercy to come back out here. Yeah, Mercy. Did you like that the Hell in a Cell is going to contain The Fiend? Oh yeah, I think so. There we go. Mercy is nodding for all those that are listening on Spotify. So there you go. Okay, that was Raw. Let's take a look at the poll one more time. And I got to refresh the page because it's like, got to see the updated numbers. Oh, no, it took a turn for the worse. People must be listening to our show. Yeah, I think we changed some minds here, Victoria.
I think Mercy did.
Yeah, I think so. 55% thumbs down.
Yeah.
So that's that. Okay. I think we've delayed it long enough. Let's talk about our Madison Square Garden experience here. And Daniel Shell, by the way, loves his little Alexa Bliss. He loves Alexa Bliss. James says that Mercy saved the mic problems. Maybe Mercy was causing the mic problems. The Fiend, a little bit of anarchy.
Did you cause him?
Oh yeah. Daniel Shell says the baby is gonna love Mercy. Isn't that what I said at Madison Square Garden when I got?
I said we know because Mike went to go get you. Did you go get ice cream?
I did.
Went to go get ice cream, and then all of a sudden, Mercy pops up, and I'm like, "What did you buy?" And then Mercy pops up, and then I was like, "He's like, oh, I bought it for the baby." I'm like, "That's going to scare the living crap out of our baby." I was like, "What is wrong with you?"
Our baby is going to be tough. Our baby's gonna be tough, and she's gonna love.
I don't know if the baby's gonna like Mercy or not.
You never know.
If you scare her with Mercy, there's going to be a problem.
No, I'm not going to scare her with Mercy. She'll be fine.
If she cries because of Mercy,
anyway,
you're going down.
Whatever. Anyway, do we really have anything from Raw to talk about? Like, what are the big stories from Raw? you remember.
From like last week?
Yeah, last week. We're talking about Madison Square Garden experience.
Sorry.
Jesus. Stick with the program here.
Sorry. Well, no, I was really excited because we had end seats. So that was nice.
I made sure that we had end seats for both nights because a pregnant woman in the middle of a section is not a recipe for a happy life.
Sorry.
I'll tell you that.
No, I mean, listen, it was an awesome show. Like it was fun. Stone Cold, forget about it. Like, you couldn't get a better crowd reaction.
Was that your first time seeing Stone Cold?
Yes. And that's why it was so special for me.
That's a good way to start.
Yes. And the reason why I enjoyed it so much, everything, was because I felt like I got to see a vintage Raw in its prime.
Yeah,
that's
a good point.
You know what I mean? Like, just with his presence alone, it felt like a old school Raw with the what chants and because Stone Cold said so, with the beer and everything else. There's nothing like watching it live.
No.
I've been watching, like I said, I've been watching Raws with you because I was banned from watching it as a kid. I liked wrestling as a kid, but I was banned eventually.
Yes.
Rightfully so. It was
too much suck-its and stuff like that.
Yeah. But see, there's nothing like watching it live. There's nothing like watching a true legend who just
doing his thing,
captivates a crowd, and who is your face of your company. And it's just...
But damn, I mean, like, how much did it stand out? Stone Cold Steve Austin goes out there, massive pop.
Yes.
I mean, I showed you my arm. The hair on my arm was standing. I had goosebumps the entire time.
Amazing.
It was so amazing. Steve Austin goes out there and just cuts a promo, no script, just starts talking, and it's funny. It's engaging. It's really, really good. And then you have Seth Rollins and Braun Strowman go out there, and they do their scripted thing, and it's like, God, you seem like such not a superstar. It's like he blows everybody out of the water. It's so great to see Steve Austin, and don't get me wrong, I loved seeing Steve Austin, but it's such a detriment to the show because it's like everybody else who comes out after him, it's like you stink. Like
nobody can compare to him.
You're using somebody else's lines.
You're
not talking like a person. You're talking like someone reading a script.
It kind of makes
that's the difference. Yeah, that's the difference.
It makes me really sad because it's like, will we ever have anybody who can live up to that ever again?
Yeah.
Will there be anybody like a Stone Cold? And I don't mean that like a Stone Cold Steve Austin. I mean like,
will there be a superstar like that again? That gets the crowd that much in love. The last one I can really think of is Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan during the Yes Movement in 2014 was probably about as close as we've ever come to having Stone Cold or The Rock back, in terms of like the crowd is just invested in every single thing that the guy does, and it for a sustained period of time. Because Becky Lynch, you could say maybe she had it, but she cooled off. And granted, it was bad booking that cooled her off, but heading into WrestleMania, she was actually kind of cold. And it took a long time, even after winning the titles back, for her to kind of warm up again. Daniel Bryan, they booked him in bad stuff. People still cheered him. They finally put the rocket on him. People were ecstatic. It wasn't... Yeah, granted, of course, there's always a jerk-off that's like, oh, they're shoving Daniel Bryan down our throats. Are you kidding me? Like in 2014, I remember reading stuff like that.
Yeah,
they're
all
shoving him down our
time.
throat. Give me a break. Yeah, this is exactly what everybody wanted. Now they complain again. But that was a very small portion of the crowd. The rest, I was there at WrestleMania 30. They were just over the moon. That's as close as we've ever come to getting a Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock reaction again. John Cena coming back in 2008 at the Royal Rumble. That's pretty close. John Cena gets that reaction now, but for the longest time he was getting booed.
No, but John Cena, though, again, is somebody, though, who, again, you'll never find somebody like him. And again, I think that was kind of like, you're right, like Daniel Bryan was probably the last person that was even close to getting that type of attention and a need and a want and a crowd just like needing it. This was not.
It was like every single argument that there is against scripted promos exists every time someone like Stone Cold Steve Austin shows up. It's like, just give them some bullet points and let them and just let them go out there.
Just go for it.
For the guys that you're not sure of or the girls you're not sure of, let them practice on house shows, cutting promos before their matches. Let them practice there, and hone the craft. But it's got to stop, because eventually you have one guy writing for a whole bunch of people. It all sounds the same. And there's nothing
exactly.
like Seth Rollins' promo tonight sucked. It just flat out sucked. But I wonder, and we'll never know, if Seth Rollins was given the freedom to actually go out there and just kind of, just give him bullet points. Put over Braun Strowman, put over The Fiend. I bet he could do a lot better. I bet the man behind Seth Rollins could do a lot better than some idiot schmuck who got a C+ in creative writing 101 and then dropped out of college because of a bad drug habit.
Sometimes
could write for
the
him.
best lines in even movies are the ones that are
ad-libbed. Yep.
Some of the greatest lines of all time, movie quotes, are from actors and actresses who have ad-libbed it.
Right.
And that's always the funniest part of the movie or whatever.
Right.
Because they did something unique to that character. They're playing a role.
All the time. One of the best movies of all time, Titanic. When she comes out in the kimono to get drawn and Leonardo DiCaprio goes over there on the bed, the couch. That was an ad-libbed line, but it's so memorable from the movie. Like I always loved that line because it was so funny when I remember when
funny,
I first saw the movie. It was hilarious.
It was yeah. It's to what.
It's innocent. It was to the character.
Jack Dawson.
Yeah,
it
was good stuff. Okay, SmackDown. Oh my God. This was the story that I've been waiting to tell. Oh my God, this was so freaking cringe. You talk about Seth Rollins being cringy on his promo. We experienced the most cringy thing I've ever seen at a wrestling show, and it didn't happen in the ring. We got to SmackDown. We watched the dark match, which was Ali and Buddy Murphy, a very good match. And I'm enjoying myself. All of a sudden, like these two people sit behind us.
We're having our food.
Victoria went to go get food. We got our food. We sit down, and this guy is talking to this girl. He brought her there on a date. He knows nothing about wrestling. Immediately, before The Undertaker even comes out, she already tells him, "Oh, I'm not really looking for a relationship. I like you as a friend." And he's like, "Oh, yeah, me too. Yeah, I love the friend thing. I'm not looking to, date or be exclusive with anybody." It was like, you are pathetic. You are a friggin' loser. Then The Undertaker's coming out. The guy doesn't even get out of his chair. He's the only one in Madison Square Garden sitting down. He's telling her, I'm not even kidding. I swear to God. He's telling her a story about his great uncle. It's some bullshit story about his great uncle. "Oh yeah, dude, you're gonna get laid tonight talking about your great uncle." Are you kidding me? You freaking loser! You just got friend zoned and you're still trying. You're telling her a fucking story about your great uncle while The Undertaker's coming out. The Undertaker's cutting his promo and he's like, "Oh yeah, he debuted against that guy Jake the Snake." And she's like, "No, he didn't." And she knew more about wrestling than he did. She's like, "No, he didn't debut against Jake the Snake. It was against Bret Hart." And I'm like, "Well, yeah, everybody's kind of close. It was at Survivor Series. I didn't turn around or anything like that." But he did not shut up once. I filmed the Undertaker entrance. I can hear his friggin' voice in the background, talking, droning on.
Again, not even.
And he was pretending that his great uncle used to wrestle at Madison Square Garden in the 70s. Yeah, what was his name? My great uncle Shmuno Shman Martino. Yeah, that was my uncle. I was like, are you kidding me? What the?
Who talks during an Undertaker like anything?
And he he was trying to pretend that he was a wrestling fan. Then it's like, well, if you're a real wrestling fan, shut up during the Undertaker, please. It was so miserable, and I was like turning around, I was like, like, shut the fuck up, please. I couldn't believe I couldn't believe what was happening. It was the most. I mean, I've seen some. I remember one time being parked next to a pair of teenagers. This is like, I want to say 5 or 6 years ago. I was parked next to a pair of teenagers at a stoplight, and I could tell that they were breaking up. And I'll just never forget, the girl was driving, and the boy all of a sudden just breaks down and just starts crying, and then she gives him the old pat on the shoulder, and then the light turns green. We keep driving. I was like, that was like probably one of the most pathetic things I've ever seen in terms of someone's
one.
Yeah, that's a sad one.
This guy was
pathetic. Pathetic. Oh my God.
He would not. Again, I can't reiterate. He would not shut up.
No.
Like there was not. I don't even know how he was breathing. He just was talking and talking and talking.
And she was like, and even she was like, oh my God, please, like, stop. He just would not stop talking.
And I'm trying to realistically, who brings somebody on a second date to
Madison Square Garden, like a wrestling show. It's like so.
It was just
weird.
so random.
Oh my! It was just.
So Mike asked the guy, one of the security.
Oh yeah,
people.
I couldn't take this. This lasted for the Undertaker segment, and I was like, this can't be the rest of my night. This absolutely cannot be the rest of my night. I go over to the usher, and there was a whole row of seats right in the section where we were for Raw. A whole row of seats just completely empty. Scalpers got the tickets, and they priced everybody out, and they didn't sell. So I was like, sir, my wife is pregnant. We have a really pathetic guy behind us that just will not shut up. Can we please move our seats? And he goes, absolutely no problem. So immediately after that, the Miz Andrade is happening, and we just move our seats, and that was the end of that.
And then, we looked back, and he was still talking.
Yeah, he never stopped. I would look over intermittently throughout the show, and he is still looking at her.
And
talking.
The people around him were getting pissed too.
Oh yeah, there were so many people that were so friggin' pissed. Other than that, it was a great live experience. I'm not gonna lie. But another thing that annoys me at live shows. There's always that one guy that's in front of you that he doesn't know what to do with his hands. When something exciting happens, he doesn't know whether to clap or something like that. So instead, it's happened to me a couple times at wrestling shows, and I've been to a lot. Something will happen, the person has to think about what they're going to do, and then they just go like this. And it's always as I'm getting ready to take a picture, they just put their hands right in front of me. It's like, you're on the hard camera side. You don't have to put your arms up. Nobody gives a shit. Unless you're trying to air out your armpits, there's no reason for you to be putting your arms up. It's so annoying. Keep your arms down. Think about the people behind you. God. I was like, so annoying. Everybody, now I'm being accused of being a diva. Daniel Shell wants to know if Mercy is an Undertaker fan. Ooh, that'd be interesting.
Let's ask.
Yes, let's bring Mercy back in here. Yes. Is that a yes?
That's a yes.
That's a yes. Mercy is an Undertaker's fan. Yes. What else?
What's going on?
What? There's more.
Mercy said that he is very sorry that guy was talking during the whole Undertaker segment.
Mercy.
Yes.
Did that guy go home and get in bed with that girl? I didn't think so. That's a no chance in hell. You just start playing Vince McMahon's theme song right now. No chance in hell. But other than that guy kind of just being annoying. We actually had a really good 2 nights at Madison Square Garden. It was a great way to kind of cap off our year of really cool shows with the baby inside in utero. The baby's first wrestling show was WrestleMania this year, so this baby has been to quite a few good things. First concert was Elton John, and the last 2 shows that the baby gets to go to, The Undertaker appears, Stone Cold Steve Austin appears, all good stuff. She finishes up with The Fiend coming out for her live event experience. Now we just have to wait for her to be born, and then we can start bringing her to shows, and she can see it in person. So it's going to be a very interesting thing. But I
hope she likes wrestling.
Oh God, I guaranteed she's not going to like wrestling whatsoever.
She just no sell everything like she does now. She just
the baby just every time we get an ultrasound, the baby's just like, you kidding me? God.
And she goes like this.
Oh yeah, she loves putting her hand in her face. Well, we can't wait to see her. Victoria's last show is next week, so please make sure you tune in for that. It's going to be a nice little celebration. We'll have Mercy the Buzzard there. Hopefully Victoria doesn't drop this week. Daniel Shell says post Raw is better than the actual Raw.
Thank you.
The bar was set pretty low. I'm not gonna lie. The bar was set pretty damn low.
Mercy, you saved the show though.
Yeah, Mercy saved the show. Mercy saved the show. It's gonna be a disaster for like people watching on YouTube for like the first like 15 minutes. I guess they're gonna be like, "What the hell's going on?" And then the microphone audio starts working, so we'll see what happens. But anyway, you can listen to the full unruined audio on Spotify. If you're listening to us on Spotify, you're getting the good version of this. Yeah, this is fun. New King of the Ring, by the way, Baron Corbin. I don't know if I told you that. King of the Ring. I'm kidding. Okay, I'm sorry. Jeez. All right. We're going to bring this baby in for a landing. We went way longer than we planned on going, but with the technical difficulties, we want to make sure that we give you a full show because we are committed to our fans. And damn it, we're going to have a good show next week. There's not going to be one technical difficulty, and it's going to be Victoria's going away party.
Oh, now you just jinxed it.
So please tune in next week. Please tune in. I'm Mike Tedesco, the editor-in-chief of Wrestleview.com.
I'm Victoria Tedesco, and this is Mercy.
Mercy the Buzzard. Mercy, you want to tell us to go follow the Buzzards?
Go follow the Buzzards.
There you go. Good night, everybody. Have a good week. Jeez.